Hello, hello out there in internet land. It is us, Fats and Angry. He's fat and I'm angry. And today we're going to be talking about candy.
Yes, a subject near my heart, mostly because the sugar is traveling into there and becoming diabetes.
Having become, and further transmuting you into something far more terrifying.
When I die, I'm going to be delicious. Coroner's going to scarf down my heart like in that Jason soon. Now, for those of you wondering if Angry can't get angry about candy, oh ye of little faith.
And it's like, shame on anyone for assuming I can't get angry about something. It's like, no, it's like if I don't get angry when we're talking about something, it's because I choose to, or I've forgotten about something. It's not because I can't find something to be pissed off about. That is a skill that no one has. But it is currently the 6th of September when we are recording this. It's probably going to be a shitload miles away since I'm still currently uploading at the rate of one episode a week. But even though it's September, we're seeing a lot of Halloween stuff coming into the stores, which, in my book, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's like people argue, it's like, dude, I'm tired of seeing like the Christmas stuff coming up right after Thanksgiving. It's like, you can make the argument about that, but I will never be upset by like Halloween decorations and shit going up early.
I just personally hate when you see Christmas stuff before Halloween's happen. That irritates the shit out of me. On Thanksgiving, you don't really decorate the house much, and when you do, there's Christmassy stuff that works with that holiday.
Oh, you've never seen the way my mom likes to decorate. She likes to decorate for every fucking holiday, though mostly on the inside of the house where no one's ever going to fucking see it.
Yeah.
But she says that, like, it's like, well, I'm going to see it and I like it. It's like, well, for that, like, I can't argue her. It's like, if she wants to decorate the inside of the house, like, the way she wants it to be for when she's looking at it, that's fine. Just, don't fucking involve me in your decorating. But anyway, back to the task at hand. Candy. This is something that me and Fats were just kicking around, like, what do you want to talk about? And I threw just candy out there. And you said that you were thinking about it, and the more you thought about it, the more you were thinking it'd be a good subject.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody has experienced candy at some point, and,
Unless you're a poor, unfortunate soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cringy.
And with Halloween coming up, you start getting nostalgic about candy.
I'm always nostalgic about candy.
Now, my personal favorite is candy corn. I know it's not...
I did see, it was on one of the comment awards. There's this YouTuber by the name of Cowbelly who started doing like Cowbelly, like he's got a channel called Cowbelly. Then he started another channel called Comment Awards. And Comment Awards, while the channel's still called that, it's now become Meme Awards. Because mostly it's a lot of memes. But in Comment Awards, they showed, in one of the videos, they showed a map of the U.S. And based on popularity in a region, they showed like the map was colored in with candy based on the popularity of the candy in Texas. Like apparently its most popular candy is candy corn. And one of the comments was another reason to hate Texas. And for everyone who thinks that, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, another candy that I really like, and similar to candy corn, are those little pumpkins that they start selling around this.
Well, you can call them candied pumpkins. There's candied corn, or candy corn and candy pumpkins. And they're essentially the same thing, just they're molded into different shapes.
Yeah.
And for those of you who've never seen it, candy corn, it's called that because it looks like just like a kernel of corn. They're triangle shaped. They got like 3 colors, like red, white, and orange.
It's white, orange, and yellow.
Or white, orange, and yellow.
Yeah, there's also Indian corn, which has kind of more of a chocolate flavor to it. It's got brown instead of the yellow.
I don't know if it has a different flavor. I don't know if those colors are just like they taste different because Like in like your head as a kid, like you associate different colors with different flavors.
No, I really like candy corn, and
It's like, no, you doubt my tasting abilities.
yeah, I know I can scarf down a lot of food, but I do actually taste it, contrary to popular belief.
Did you even taste it, you walrus?
Yes, I did. I tasted it so much I wanted to taste more, so I kept doing it.
It's like candy corn for me. I have a love-hate relationship with candy corn because it's a candy that I do like and I do enjoy it. But the problem I have with it is I can only eat maybe a handful or less before I start getting like diminishing returns on the flavor. It's like, ooh, candy corn. The first piece is like, oh, this is awesome. Second piece is like, yeah, this is pretty good. Third piece is like, okay, this is neat. Fourth piece is like, all right. Fifth piece is like, okay, we're still doing this. Sixth piece is like, okay, how about we settle down here? Seventh piece is like, okay, can we just stop? Can we just fucking stop right now? I think we're done. Put it away. Put it away. We're fucking done. I don't know what it is about it. Like it's like I have the same experience with those little like cupcake things called zingers. And like especially the strawberry zingers, I fucking love zingers, and the strawberry zingers I like to a lesser extent, but I like mostly the vanilla icing zingers. But I can eat about 3 or 4 of them before I am fucking done with them, and I don't want to even look at them for like at least another 24 hours.
Well,
Didn't you say that you like melted down a bunch of candy corn at one point? Or was that someone else that I knew?
that must have been someone else. I once had this big ass candy corn lollipop that didn't really taste like candy corn, which disappointed me because I was hopeful for like a huge hunk of candy corn.
But like it wouldn't be a lollipop because candy corn is like it's not.
It's kind of a wax candy.
Well, it's got the consistency of a wax candy, except it's a little bit more pliable. I think it's like caramelized sugar.
Yeah, I know it has honey as one of the ingredients. That might be why you have the diminishing returns.
But like it feels like some sort of press molded like sugar, like caramelized sugar type thing. Because like when you bite into it, it becomes really chewy. But before you bite into it, it keeps its shape pretty well, and it's got like a good solid structure to it. Yes, we eat so much candy, we are aware of the texture and consistency of said candy. And if you truly were a child, you can appreciate that shit too. If you can't, then you never fucking lived as a child, and I pity you. But yeah, like I remember hearing somewhere, it must have been someone else I knew, that they had like gotten a bunch of candy corn, put it in like a microwave or on a stovetop or something, and melted it into like a solid like plate of like orangish brown candy corn that they took out, and they were just like chewing on it like they were eating a fucking plate. So like you serve something on it and then you just fucking eat it. Dishes are done.
Well, I'd certainly be willing to try that.
It's like, you want anything for dessert? My plate is my dessert. Diabetes.
I'm also a huge fan of jelly beans.
Oh yeah, jelly beans are considered to be like one of the good old-fashioned candies.
Yeah, doesn't matter what kind. The just basic beans, the big hollow ones, or Jelly Belly. I will sit there and scarf jelly beans for hours on end.
It's amazing that there's so many varying types of jelly beans. Like when I was a kid, I just assumed it was just like jelly bean. There's like you get your basic flavors and that's it. But as an adult, like jelly beans have evolved far beyond that. Jelly Belly has like an absurd amount of flavors. They got those. They even make those every flavor beans, which fuck that noise because some of that shit is disgusting. Like the grass flavored one. It's like, yeah, if you ever like wanted to know what it is, to just take a big wad of yard clippings and just shove it in your fucking mouth.
I remember one time me and my wife were at the store, and I was wanting jelly beans specifically, so I'm looking through the candy, and she comes across a box of those Every Beans, and I really wanted jelly beans, and I was like, should I? And I started looking at some of the alternate flavors, and it's like, huh. No, I don't want to risk eating old socks instead of popcorn.
You know, like they do have like a variation of the Jelly Belly, which isn't the every flavor, but it's like all of their like more eclectic flavors, like pina colada and like Hawaiian punch and pineapple, and like passion fruit and popcorn and like this and that. And I find that the only one that I don't, or the only two that I don't like, are the black licorice, because fuck whoever came up with that.
I like
And
licorice.
oh, I like red licorice or like other kinds of licorice, but black licorice to me tastes fucking awful. Which is weird because I like root beer, and apparently like root beer is made with like some of the same ingredients as black licorice. But I cannot stand black licorice. It's just it tastes like black. It tastes like the color. It's like everything that you see that's black, like asphalt and like rubber tire and everything, like it tastes like you'd expect that to taste. It's like I can't explain it. I've never chewed on a tire, but somehow my brain's like, like try black licorice. I'm pretty sure that's gonna equate to that experience for you.
Well, I like black licorice, but
I'll be sure to save all the black licorice for you then.
yes.
And the other one was popcorn. I cannot stand the popcorn flavor of the jelly beans from the Jelly Bellies. I couldn't tell you why. It doesn't taste like popcorn to me. It tastes like unpopped popcorn shell. Like if you ever just like get a bag of unpopped popcorn and just try to chew on it. That's what it tastes like to me.
I've actually done that.
Well, that's unfortunate, but still. I'm sure it's not as preferable as to the popped variety. But now they got like what was it? Sunkissed, or was it Sunkissed, or was it?
They've had soda flavors for a while.
Oh no, like the brand Sunkissed, like they actually like made. They do have like I was gonna mention that the soda brand ones, like the ones that taste like Dr Pepper, the ones that taste like Barq's root beer, the one that tastes like Coke. Those are really good. I fucking love those. I can't get enough of those. But and then they have like what are those? What's that one candy for? I can't think of it right now. That one candy that comes in those little squares, like Starburst, I think they're called. Yeah, like Starburst Candy. Like they even make their own jelly beans, and those are like they don't have many flavors, but the flavors they have are really fucking like intense. Like if it's orange, it tastes really fucking orangey. If it's strawberry, it really fucking tastes strawberry-ish. Like they don't have nearly as many flavors as Jelly Bellies, but the flavors that they have are a lot more intense than you'll get in a regular Jelly Belly jelly bean. And various like candy companies are making their own variations of jelly beans, and they tend to try to focus on like what they're good at.
Yeah.
Because they know they can't do everything like Jelly Belly. Jelly Belly's been doing it for fucking decades. They got the leg up. You're not going to beat them on that front. So they try to focus on like a smaller number of flavors and really try to hammer those flavors out as best as they can to make up for it.
Well, I've mentioned my favorite candy. What's yours?
Cadbury Creme Egg.
Those are pretty good.
Those are the best. I forget the name. There was this one comedian who was talking about the Cadbury Creme Egg, and he said it was like the best confection ever created by mankind. And I'm generally considering that to be true. Because, like, man, those things are fucking good. If you've never had one, it's a thin chocolate shell. And inside there's this kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, like...
to me, it's like icing, but...
It has the consistency of icing, and it looks like egg yolk. That's what it's supposed to be like. It's supposed to be like a chocolate egg with a candied egg yolk inside. And I don't know what that thing's made out of. I wouldn't call it like a toffee or nougat. It's some sort of like, just like weird sugary like concoction that tastes fucking amazing. And the fact they make them in two sizes, they got the regular size, which is a little bit smaller than like a regular egg. Which a lot of people talk about, like, that's a lot of sugar. It's like, yes, because it's really fucking good. If it takes that much sugar for it to be that good, then they can use all the fucking sugar they want. It's like generally, like when I get like those, you can get them in like packs of 6 or packs of 8. And I'll generally eat like one a day. Because like, I'm pretty sure each one of those things has the same caloric intake of a meal. But and they also, you can get them like in a dozen, but they're really small ones, about the size of your pinky finger. And those I can't. Like I'll still eat them, and they're still good, but they're let down because like more than half of it is the shell, and so you get very, very little of the filling. And it's like, fuck, because the filling's what makes it. Like, granted, it's Cadbury chocolate, and Cadbury chocolate's a really good brand of chocolate, but that filling is where it's fucking at.
Yeah.
Like, I
like the Halloween ones. They have the dark chocolate with the green eggs and stuff.
Well, I don't know if it's dark chocolate, but yeah, like Cadbury Creme Egg, it's primarily an Easter candy.
Yeah.
And they only have it at Easter. And I remember, even as a little kid, they used to have this commercial where they had like, like all these different animals with like bunny ears on them, like trying to become the new Cadbury Creme Egg.
Yeah.
And they would always just go back to the bunny.
Cadbury bunny.
Yeah, the Cadbury bunny. And they would have this like bunny there that they like put something in its mouth so that it would be constantly chewing. And as it's chewing, they'd have like the sound effect of like a chicken like clucking, like buck, 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 buck. Like as it's chewing with its mouth, like synced up to like the chewing. And so like they kind of made like this chicken Easter bunny would like lay these chocolate eggs for you. It's like, I don't fucking care how you make them, just gimme. It's like, I wish they made them bigger. I wish they made one like the size of a fist. Hell, I would love to have one the size of a football because it has generally the same shape.
Just like perforated, so you pick off the top and spoon out the rest.
Fuck
like
yeah.
a bowl of cereal.
Just, this is going to kill me, but I'm going to die happy. They should just give those to like people who are terminally ill at hospitals. But I remember that same comedian who was mentioning them. He says like he wished that they were as big as a truck so that you could just pull open the back like a fucking hatchback and just like shove a fist into there and pull it out like the fucking priest from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom pulling out Homeboy's heart. Just this giant wad of candy dripping from your fist. Kalima! Kalima! And then it catches fire. I don't know why, it just does.
Good luck photoshopping that one.
Oh no, I don't got any Photoshop skills. I'm just gonna like fucking cut out the picture of like the homeboy from Temple of Doom holding the heart. But like, yeah, I fucking love that. And you're right, they started doing a Halloween variation of it because like, why roll out a candy that you can only sell once per year when you can sell it twice per year? And they call them scary eggs, and it's essentially just a Cadbury Creme Egg. The only difference is that they change out the coloring for the filling, because as mentioned before, it's supposed to be a chocolate egg with the filling looks like an egg yolk. It's like white with a dollop of yellow in the center. And so for the monster eggs, they're just green, like a kind of slimy green. And they taste the same, which is fucking great because it's the taste I'm looking for, not the color. But the only problem is, like, I've been looking for them, and one year I found them in like the H-E-Bs and the Walmarts around here. But since then, I can't fucking find them. The only places you can find them at are at corner stores, which is bullshit because they're so much more expensive there.
Yeah, they charge like over $1 for them.
It's like $2 like to get one, or $1 to get one, depending on which corner store you go to.
Most of the ones I've seen, you can get like 2 for $3, or damn near $2 for one. And it's like,
yeah, it's like. Meanwhile, like during Easter, when you go to some place like Walmart, you can get like those packs of 6 or 4 of the Cadbury Creme Eggs for like $2.50 or $2.30, and that's a much better deal.
Yeah,
It's like, get 6 for the price of 2, what you'd pay at like the corner stores. So I'm not happy about not being able to find them. I'm still going to keep looking. I am happy that they brought back the Halloween cereals, because for the past 2 years or so they haven't had the Count Chocula, the Yummy Mummy, or the no, they haven't had Yummy Mummy, but they haven't had the Frankenberry or the Boo Berry, and that's been like a fucking letdown.
Yeah, I forget how long ago it was, but I actually saw Fruit Brute in the store.
Yeah, they brought back Yummy Mummy and Fruit Brute, and Yummy Mummy was actually really fucking good, and Fruit Brute was even better. So, but they only did that for 1 year, so I was severely disappointed when they didn't bring them back. And then they didn't bring them back. They didn't bring any of them back. Like I said, for like the past 2 or 3 years, they haven't had like Count Chocula or Boo Berry or Frankenberry.
Yeah, I really like the blueberry.
Well, they got it now. If you want to pick up some, get it while you can.
I might.
But going back to candies, I guess my favorite candy would have to be hands down the Cadbury Creme Egg. I do like candy corn, and of course, like jelly beans are a staple. One candy I do like for just the convenience of it is Smarties. You're familiar with those, yeah?
Yeah, I'll eat them. They're not it's not something I'll go out of my way to get. But if somebody's like, "Hey, you want one?" Then yeah.
Essentially, they're this type of chalky candy, and it's like, I know, chalky candy. That's not a very appealing, appetizing descriptor for your candy, but it's fucking good. And they come in these little rolls, about as thick as a pencil, not quite as long, about 5 or so inches, or maybe 4 inches, something like that. You can get like a wad of these things and just stuff them in your pocket, which is why I say they're good for convenience. And they're all like, and there's like a bunch of them. It's like essentially a roll of this stuff, and they're all like cut up, and they're all different colors. They all kind of taste the same to me. I don't know if they're supposed to have different. I don't think
they're supposed to be different flavors.
I think it's just different coloring, and like I said, as a kid, like your brain associates like different colors for different flavors. Like for example, like apparently they said that certain things like M&ms, like the colors don't have different flavors. Though people can swear that like the different colors have different flavors.
The red's the best.
It's like, no, that's bullshit, and you're bullshit. Like, what was it, like people didn't like green, or people would sometimes only eat the green ones? I was like, I don't know why. Like, I remember hearing that rumor a long time ago, but I never heard the explanation as to why that was a thing.
That was a while back, but I remember reading this news article where they found these bees that had like strange colored honey. There was purple and blue honey, and it turned out what happened was the M&M's factory was nearby, and the bees were stealing the discarded shells in the trash and using them to make the honey, and so it was dyeing the honey different colors.
Wow. I wonder if that raised the price since it's designer honey.
I think they said the honey wasn't edible, but...
Oh, that's not good.
But nonetheless, it was really cool to see this beehive with just like all these rainbow colors to it.
Oh man, these fucking bees are tripping balls. They got into a fucking LSD stash. But yeah, Smarties are really good. I've seen they actually sell these bigger ones. They're like the size of a roll of quarters. And it's like these Smarties are like these big fat Smarties. But unfortunately they don't taste as good. Because what I like about Smarties is that they crunch real easy in your mouth. And you can pop a whole fucking roll of Smarties and just chew them up in your mouth. And it's a good boom of sugar. But yeah, they taste pretty decently. But the big ones, because they're so big and thick, they're a lot harder to chew, and that's just not good. And obviously you can't put the whole thing into your mouth. I mean, you could try, but you'd be in for a hard time. But yeah, I would stick with the regular sized ones. You name a candy now. It's your turn.
Alright, well,
doesn't have to be your favorite candy, just whatever candy comes to mind that we haven't already talked about.
Actually, this is... Maybe somebody in the audience can explain what's going on here. Every time I've gone trick-or-treating, there's always these blue candies. They're the same shape and size as a butterscotch, but they're blue. There's no markings on the wrapper.
Mystery candy.
And they taste like menthol. And I always end up getting at least one anytime I go trick-or-treating, and I'm just wondering, what the fuck is this candy? Because I've never seen packages of them. I've never seen them in, like, variety bags of candy, but there's...
It's probably only shit you can get, like, the Mexican markets, or it's, like, a straight-up, like, candy from Mexico. Because the menthol sounds like, that's like a type of mint flavor.
Yeah.
And so it's probably, like, like, kind of like granny candy.
Maybe.
It's like if you've ever gotten a Werther's Original, or if you've ever, like, seen those fucking candies which, like, the wrappers look like strawberry and they actually have, like, actual strawberry.
Oh, the strawberry bonbons. I love those things.
When my grandparents used to get candy, it was either Werther's Original or it was the strawberry bonbons. And I like strawberry flavored things, but I don't like actual strawberry, as odd as that is.
Yeah.
Like, if you give me a strawberry, I'll eat it, but, like, I'm not going to really enjoy it all that much. I mean, like, it has a sweetness to it, but a strawberry itself isn't super sweet, unless, like, you're sweetening it up with sugar, which defeats the purpose of eating. I have seen people, like, they'll give them, like, a dusting of sugar before they eat them, but I've never, like, myself gotten, like, demeaned myself into doing that. I don't know if that's the proper word for it, but it just seems like wrong. Like putting sugar on a sugary fruit. That just seems like, like you're doubling up on it for no reason.
Yeah, those blue candies, whoever invented those, fuck you.
So a point of contention for Fats over here.
Okay. Like when I was a kid, I would forget that those things tasted like fucking Vaseline. And so, I'd be like, I wonder what this is. There's nothing on the fucking wrapper. And you try it. Oh.
I got fucked again. It's like for me, butterscotch, I don't like the taste of butterscotch. Now, I've had butterscotch flavored like butter, like faux butter beer. Like, I know that's become pop. I've heard that that's actually a drink that they have, like, in places like England. It's like a type of, like, drink for kids that's flavored with butterscotch. And that, so long as it has, like, some, like, cream put in there, is good. But, like, it's like, some vanilla cream to go mix with it to, like, help sweeten it up and not so it's just overbearing butterscotch flavor. But butterscotch candies, I hate. Whenever I get candy and it's a butterscotch, I spit that shit right out. I don't care where I am. I've gotten yelled at by my parents for that. It's like, don't do that here. It's like, well, they shouldn't have fucking put it in the bowl. Because usually, like, there's this place that me and my folks like to go eat at called Poets. It used to be called Friday's Poets. And Poets is an anagram for Piss on Everything Tomorrow, Saturday. That's what it stands for. You can see why that's not the full-on name, so instead they just call it Poets. But for as long as I can remember, they've had, like, when you're leaving, they have a big-ass bowl of candy. And a lot of the times, it's a combination of, like the peppermint candies, or peppermint mints. I wouldn't even call those the candies, because I fucking hate peppermint. Like a peppermint candy cane, I won't touch that shit. Now, the green ones I like. I like that. What do you call that green mint?
I think that's spearmint.
Yeah, spearmint's fucking good. I love the taste of spearmint. And you can always identify it because they always color it green. You have you have peppermint, which is usually the red color. Spearmint, which is usually the green. And then there's the blue one. What's the blue one? Is that menthol?
I think so.
Yeah, that one sucks too. I can see why you don't like the blue marble candy, if that's like also menthol. But it looks so appetizing. It tastes like this doesn't taste all that much different from the peppermint. And so like I hawk that out too. But like a lot of the times they'll get these candies and they'll get like orange candy and lemon candy and they'll mix butterscotch in with it. And fuck whoever thought that was a good idea. It's like fuck those people right up the ass with a cattle prod. I mean, just because that's bullshit. It's like every time you get one of those yellowish, orangish candies, it's like fucking Russian roulette with candy. It's like, oh shit, which one's this gonna be? Is this going to be a good one, or is it going to be a shitty one? I got a, I got a 2 in 3 chance that it's a good one because it can be a lemon, or it can be an orange, or I can get fucked and it can be a butterscotch. It's amazing how often I got fucked with butterscotch. And I'd spit that shit right out. I don't need that shit in my life.
Well, I like butterscotch, but it's not one I'll go out of my way to get.
Well, I'll be sure to save all my butterscotch for you along with the black licorice.
Yay.
Were there originals like butterscotch? I think that's more of like caramel.
No,
it's like a milk candy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they always got like on the picture of the bag, it's got like those, like the jug of milk pouring to like form the candy. Like I'm pretty sure that's not what milk does. I poured milk into my bowl and it doesn't just fill a bowl of Werther's Original.
Speaking of Werther's Original, I do enjoy the candy, but man, I hate the fucking commercials.
Because they know their market. They know they're marketing to like old fucking people.
They have this person who's like so sentimental because their grandparents like would occasionally give them one of the Werther's Original.
It's like every time I eat a Werther's Original, I think of my grandmother and I cry. It's like, man, I'm already suffering from clinical depression. I don't need that shit in my life. Candy's supposed to make you feel happy, not make you sob uncontrollably.
My grandpa, before he died, gave me a Werther's Original. Then he hit me over the head with a cane.
Then I unplugged him, and that's how he fucking died.
Then I ate all his Werther's.
Because fuck you, old man. The future is for the young. Yeah, I went there. Do something about it.
Well, I know as a kid, like, the way those commercials were, it made me think that you had to be an old person to even get the Werther's.
Yeah, like, if you went there, like, as a kid, like, they wouldn't even fucking sell it to you. Like, they kept it with the fucking cigarettes and prescription medication. It's like, just shit, you are not old enough to experience this unless your grandparents deem it so.
Can I have that bag of Werther's next to the Playboy magazine?
I hoard them next to my penthouse.
I'll take 2 issues of Hustler Taboo and a bag of Werther's, please.
It's like, they're pretty good candy because, like, you gotta suck on them for a while because if you try to chew on them, you'll break your goddamn teeth. They're like jawbreakers in that sense. You got to suck on them for a good while before, like, they start becoming brittle enough for you to actually chew into the things. And even if you chew into them too quickly, they get stuck in your teeth. So you really got to suck them down until, like, they just like dissolve in your mouth. That's the way you're supposed to do it. But I'm an impatient bastard. So I've heard also with Lifesavers. That's a candy that. Actually,
I haven't had Lifesavers in a long time.
That is a candy that has like a lot of sentimental value to me because when I was a kid, my grandfather, on my mother's side, he would often he was taking test medication at the time. It was something they were doing with World War II vets, and he was a World War II veteran. So as a little kid, he would take me and my sister. We would walk from his house all the way to this doctor's office right outside the Shoreline Hospital. Now, that's a pretty long fucking walk. That's like a good 6 miles. And for a kid, that's a long-ass way. But we went, and I got to see like a lot of sights and stuff. As a kid, I don't remember them too much because I was a little kid. But I remember the doctor's office, when you got there, it actually had a little, like, counter there at the entrance, which was a dick move on their part because they knew what was going on. They knew that this was a doctor's office for like older patients and knew they'd probably have to be bringing their grandkids. And so they had like this counter that had all these candies and shit in it with a big display case that faced right out to the entrance. So as you walked in, it was the first fucking thing you saw. So yes, me and my sister, like as a bribe for walking all this way and back to the house, my grandfather would get us candy. He'd always ask, like, which candy did you want? And I would more often than not, get the Lifesavers. And I would always get the Lifesavers. My sister, I remember her commenting, how come you don't get something different? And it's a problem I've always had, even as an adult, of it's the question of, do you want to try something new and have it be shitty, or do you want to stick with something you know you're going to enjoy? And that's kind of how it was. It was like, there was other candy there that I could have gotten, because you could only get one. That was the thing. You can get one candy. And like some stuff like Mounds or Almond Joy, which I'll mention later on, like I like those, but you can go through a Mounds in 2 bites.
Yeah.
But like Lifesavers, like you suck on those things, like a lozenge. And like you can bite into them, but that's if you're going through them pretty fast. So generally you pull one out, pop into your mouth, suck it down, wait for it to dissolve in your mouth, then you pop the next one in. So like one roll of Lifesavers lasted you a while as a kid. So long as you didn't just throw them in your mouth, chew, 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 throw in the other one. For me, I think it would last me like the whole walk back. But yeah, so like whenever I think of Lifesavers, I think of like walking along and going to the doctor's office or my grandfather. So it's got a lot of sentimentality to me. But
Do you remember the Lifesavers dots?
Lifesavers dots, yes. I remember getting them, but I wasn't a huge fan of them because one, they tended to all wad up in one big clump on the bottom, and two, they dissolved too quickly.
Well, I would usually chew them, but
yeah, you could chew them up, but the thing is, Lifesavers, it's one of those candies that generally it carries over the stickiness of sugar. So the problem with those candies is they'll get stuck in your teeth, and that will really deepen your cavities. Which, as a kid, you don't fucking care. That's what you got baby teeth for.
Yeah.
You rot them out. You eat candy until they rot out of your fucking head because you know you got new ones coming in. It's only a shame that nowadays you got too many kids falling prey to early onset diabetes. It's like when I was growing up, that wasn't a thing. And we fucking engorged ourselves on candy. Well, me not so much because I had parents that were constantly bogarting the candy from me. But I mean in general, just everything back there was all sugared up. Tang was 50% pure fucking cane sugar. A lot of gum was fucking loaded up with sugar back in those days. Sugary cereals were fucking sugary cereals. And candy was really fucking sweet back in those days.
Yeah. One of the earliest memories I have of being able to pick out my own candy was at a convenience store. And there were these gummies that were inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. I remember I wanted to get this one that was a wizard. The candy.
I will eat him and steal his power.
Well, the candy itself was 2 tones in color. This wizard, it was yellow and blue, and I thought it looked really cool. But the package was slightly opened, and so my parents wouldn't let me get that one. And there weren't any other wizard shapes in there, or any that were that color. And so I ended up settling on a dragon. But
what was it? Just one gummy per package?
Yeah.
Wow, that's.
It was the gummies. They were about 2 inches long.
I was about to say those better be some fucking big ass gummies.
Yeah.
I know nowadays, God, I remember for a while there, the big internet thing was, what was it, the 5-pound gummy bear?
Yeah.
Because it's literally a giant gummy bear. And people realize just you say I could eat a whole 5-pound bag of gummy bears. You know what? You probably could eat a 5-pound bag of gummy bear, but you would be hard pressed to eat a 5-pound gummy bear.
I've also seen some big gummy worms. I don't know how much they weigh, but look like a morbid dildo.
Morbid fucking multicolored dildo.
For those of you who watch too much LaBoo Girl, here's your dildo.
Oh, Blue Girl, that's something I haven't mentioned in a long time. You want to talk about old fucking hentai, you talk about the Blue Girl. That was the grandpappy of tentacle porn. But,
yeah, we went there.
Speaking of gummies and lifesavers, for a while there was lifesavers gummies.
Yeah, those weren't too bad.
Yeah, but they were essentially just like, they were just ring-shaped gummies. I mean, they just tasted like gummy bears with the lifesavers flavoring in that shape. And the problem was, like, you had to eat those fuckers fast because, like, they would start melting immediately in heat. And this is Corpus, we're, like, located, like, 30 feet from the surface of the fucking sun.
Yeah. Speaking of gummy bears, I had a friend, and it was his birthday, and some of our friends had baked him a cake. And they had topped it with gummy bears and then put it into a box. And when they opened the box to show him, hey, we got you a cake, it turned out the heat from the cake had melted the gummy bears into the slag. There were like some half-melted gummy bears and then like the full of gummy slag.
It's like, we have for you Chernobyl birthday cake.
It just...
Complete with like gummy bear melted elephant foot.
The gummy bears had essentially become the icing on top of the icing.
Now, that actually might be pretty boss. Did it taste good?
It was actually really good, and the sight of the cake is something I'll never forget.
Horrifying.
Yeah, there were also gummy bears that were mixed into the cake batter, and they kind of melted and caramelized into the batter, and it was really good.
Damn, we gotta try that sometime. You're gonna need to fucking stretch your memory for that shit.
Well, cake and gummy bears aren't that expensive.
Well, what kind of cake was it? Was it just a white cake or a yellow cake?
I think it was a yellow cake.
You know, it's weird. Like, my mom says she hates yellow cake. It's like, it tastes just the same as white cake. What's your fucking problem?
The only difference is you leave the yolks in. That's it. That is...
Yeah. Just as like, I can eat white cake, but I will never eat yellow cake. It's like, oh boy.
Does she not like eggs? Or?
Well, yeah, she likes eggs. And like in Mexican cooking, you use a lot of fucking eggs.
It's just egg yolk. It makes it yellow. That's all it is.
I don't know. My parents are strange fucking people. Sometimes I'm ashamed to be related to them. And like on the contrary, sometimes they're ashamed to be related to me, but for different reasons. Mostly because I refuse to give any fucks.
Yeah. And they're also ashamed that I'm your friend.
A lot of shame going around.
Shame. Shame.
It's a shame I don't have that bell. Ding! Shame. I think that's supposed to be from Game of Thrones, but I've never watched that show. Yes, I've never watched Game of Thrones. Fucking deal with it.
Neither have I. I what turned me off to is everybody who's talked to me about it, they like mention how much rape's in the damn thing, and it's like, I don't want to watch that.
It's like, this show's kind of rapey. Like hentai rapey, you know? Whereas, like, just from what everyone talks about, it sounds like they're talking about a goddamn soap opera. It's like, oh, did you hear what, like, did you hear what Jonathan Snow did? And he said so-and-so, and then, like, so-and-so might find out. And then they're going after so-and-so. It's like, yes, The Young and the Restless has been going on for quite a long time. I'm sure the plot is very interesting.
Well, my mom used to watch Young and the Restless when I was a kid, and at my dialysis center it was on the main TV playing, and I was surprised to find out Victor's still a part of it.
I know there's like, I forget my mom's...
That's like over 30 years.
I know there's like this one soap opera that my mom watches. She used to watch Young and the Restless too, but I don't think she watches it anymore. But she's watching this one soap opera, and every time I walk in on her, like all the characters were talking about this other character named Sonny, I think, and how like he's a criminal and a thug, and how everyone hates him and wants him dead. And I think he's been on the show so long that all the other actors that were around when he introduced are gone. So for the one character that every other character wants dead, he is the only motherfucker that's been there throughout the whole thing. Like, we need to kill Sonny. We need to get rid of Sonny. Like, and fucking 10 years later, they're still saying the same shit. It's like, bitch ain't dead yet? Stab that motherfucker. Kill him with a brick. Run him over. Stab him. Something. God, you people fucking suck. If you want someone dead, you can make them dead.
If that many people want dead, you kill them. Somebody's going to help you hide the body.
It's like, fucking do an Oriental Express. I don't care what you do. Just end that bitch.
Invite him over for cake.
It sounds like, like the old adage, like, the good die young and assholes live forever, which sounds like an awesome name for a soap opera. The good die young and assholes live forever. Brought to you by Ben
Kellogg's. Brought to you by this weird blue candy that shows up every fucking Halloween.
Yeah, we better get back to candy before we wander so far away that we don't have enough breadcrumbs to get our way back.
Alright, well, besides black licorice and butterscotch, are there any candies that you always hated getting in your bags?
There's this, I wouldn't call them a candy, they're more like a mint, but some people would argue that mints are candies. But wedding mints, I hate these things, and that comes from, like, conditioning. That's like... That's unfortunately like Pavlovian conditioning that I've been like fucking exposed to for a very long time. If you're ever familiar with anyone out there, if you're not from South Texas or a place where they have a large Hispanic or Mexican population, Mexican weddings generally tend to have two party favors on, like for Mexican weddings, Mexican quinceañeras, Mexican get-togethers, anniversaries, family reunions and shit like that. They'll generally have two things on every table: salted peanuts and wedding mints. Wedding mints are these little multicolored mints that taste like shit. Well, they taste like mint. They have like no fucking flavor. They taste like chalk. And not in a good way. Like Smarties. It's not good chalk. It's like straight up writing chalk. And they have like they look like little pillows. They're about the size of a pinky finger. And they're so fucking dry. If you put one of these in your mouth, it just absorbs all the moisture out of your mouth and leaves you like, with fucking dry mouth. You feel like you got cotton mouth. You start having problems talking. And they put these with salted peanuts, which is, salted peanuts are like, they put those in bars to fucking make you thirsty so that you buy shit. And guess what? It is tradition in a Mexican anything, quinceañera, wedding, get-together, what have you, they never have a pay bar. I mean, they never have, like, drinks there. They only ever have pay bars. And whoever started this trend needs to have his entire fucking family bloodline wiped from the face of the earth. Every last person related to them by blood needs to be fucking murdered in the street. Because that is a sin that is absolutely unforgivable. Fuck you. Fuck everyone that looks like you. Fuck you to death, you piece of shit. Who the fuck thought that was a good idea? And like, I asked my parents this, why the fuck did you do this? Because my parents have set up shit like that too. Like, my parents did that for my sister's wedding. That fucking made me furious. Of course, it wasn't so bad then because they actually had, like, catering there. Because my sister wanted to spare no expense. So they had shit like watermelon and grapes so you could rehydrate yourself, even though there was a fucking pay bar. And then, like, for my sister's quinceañera, there was a pay bar. For my sister's graduation party, for my cousin's graduation parties, both of them, there was a pay bar. For every wedding I've ever been to, where it's been like someone related to my family or a family friend, guess what? Salted peanuts, wedding mints, and pay bar. Two things designed to dehydrate the shit out of you, and $5 8-ounce Coke cans.
Wouldn't it just be cheaper to buy refreshments than pay some guy to charge you for...
Well, because they rent out these party halls where they don't allow you to bring outside refreshments. It's like, I'd rather have a party out in the fucking street where we have to like move to the sidewalk every time a car goes by than fucking deal with having to pay like an absorbent amount. And it sucks when you're a kid, because when you're a kid, you don't have money.
Yeah.
And guess what? Your mom ain't spending $5 on a fucking can of soda.
Yeah.
And if they do, it's like one that's going to last you for the whole fucking 8 to 10 hours you're going to be there. And let me tell you what, an 8-ounce can of soda does not hold over like anybody for 8 hours.
Yeah.
And I say 8 hours because my mom would always drag me along as a kid to be there whenever, because my mom would always volunteer to help them set up. So of course she dragged my happy ass along. And then you'd be there for the thing, and then you'd be there long after it was over to help clean up. And you had to clean up because, like, if you didn't, they would charge you extra. And I'm thinking, why can't we just have a party at someone's house? It's like, oh, no, we can't do that. This is a special occasion. Yeah, a special occasion to pay a lot of money to get fucked. But because of that, I fucking hate wedding mints. Fuck them. Whenever I see them, I just fucking get angry. I get angry as fuck. Man, I get so fucking angry, I get a hate boner. I get really fucking angry when I see this shit.
Well, it's not a Halloween candy, but one I've always hated is those little hearts with like the tiny messages that you get for Valentine's Day.
You know, I actually like those. If you ever get some you don't like, hand them over.
To me, they taste like chalk in the bad way.
They ain't no wedding mints, I'll tell you that right now. But like those are kind of like candy corners. I can have like some of them and then I gotta stop. And they make like larger varieties. I think they're made out of the same thing. There's this one candy that they've been making for like almost 100 years, or at least 100 years. I forget what it's called. It's like the Smarties they made before Smarties. They're like these little wafer candies. And I found out that these are actually made out of the same shit that they make those candied hearts out of. But they're really thin wafers. They're like almost paper thin. And just like Smarties, they come in a roll. But it's instead of like being the little Smarties roll, it's about the size as a roll of Lifesavers. And they come in like the regular variation, which they have different flavors, like based on the color, just like the colored hearts do, because they actually do have different flavors, believe it or not. And they even have a chocolate one that tastes horrible because it tastes like baker's chocolate, like brick chocolate, like that unsweetened stuff. Oh God, that reminds me. I saw a fucking meme video where it shows like this mother like publicly shaming her kid on the internet by going like, she goes like, Jeremy won't stop crying because he wants this Hershey chocolate, even though I keep telling him it's unsweetened. So go ahead, Jeremy, try the chocolate. And so like, he's got like a mound of this stuff on a spoon, and it's like the Hershey's Baker's chocolate. And he puts it in his mouth, and you just see a look of just abject disappointment on this kid's face. And like eventually he like coughs a couple of times, and you see like the dust pop out. And you see him like he's trying like hell to try to make it taste better than it does in his mouth. Like you can see him actually trying to use his imagination to make this taste better, because he refuses to believe. At least this is the look I'm seeing on this kid's face. He refuses to believe that something called Hershey's chocolate could taste this much not like chocolate. And I love, like, he's got that look on his face, like he's really trying to find the willpower. And you just kind of see him slump in his chair with this defeated, dejected look. Like he just refuses to admit it to himself. Like, this can't be. No. Who would do this? No one could be this cruel. I love the mother because, man, like, no one can be as vindictive as a mother. Like, if you could, like, bottle the vindictiveness of a mother against her child when they want to prove that they're right and the child is wrong, that shit could burn. You wouldn't be able to bottle it because there's no container that you could put it in where it wouldn't, like, burn a hole through the bottom. That's how pungent it is.
And it would smell like vinegar.
No, it would probably smell like vinegar that's been like fermenting in a corpse for a couple of days.
Oh,
Man, that image strayed about as far as you could get from as candy as you can. But speaking of chocolate, let's talk about chocolate, like one of the most generic of candies.
well, one of my favorites is the crackles and I think it's a Hershey's brand, like yellow with red letters. I can't remember what the name is.
Oh yeah, they come in those like value packs with like
Yeah.
those little things, and usually you'll see them in like doctors' offices.
I think they're Nestle. No.
Essentially what it is, it's the Hershey's versions of the Nestle's Crunch,
Yeah.
but it's like smaller and it's slightly different. Because obviously they can't just do like the Nestle's Crunch, because they'd fucking get sued by Nestle.
Yeah.
Like Hershey's and Nestle's, like they've been at each other's throats for a long fucking time. But
Yeah. Well, when it comes to Hershey, other than their basic chocolate bar, I really like just about everything they do. Like they have this one that's like cookies and cream, and they got that new pretzel gold one.
I haven't tried that one. It looks good, but whenever like I've been jaded too many times when I see gold. Like, you see gold, and then you try to imagine in your head, what does gold taste like? We actually had this conversation, because the first time I saw, like, that Hershey's Gold bar, I'm looking at it, and because, like, everything's, like, gold on the wrapper and on the marketing and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, hey, Fats, it's like, what do you think gold tastes like? And you literally look at me, you're like, what? Because you give me a look like I'm going crazy, but that's quite common for us. Because like a lot of times I'll just like randomly hit you with something random, and you have no idea where this idea popped in my head. But guess what? This is what we're talking about now. and it's like that's a good question. What does gold taste like? And I mean, like if the metal had a flavor that tasted something other than metal, what would it taste like?
I imagine like like. If I was biting into a gold brick and it didn't taste like lead.
Or something remarkably close to lead on an atomic level.
Probably butterscotch, to be honest.
See, that's the thing. I don't like butterscotch, and so that's like one of the big warning signs. And sometimes they'll put butterscotch in a gold-like wrapper, as opposed to yellow or orange, where they're not trying to fuck with me. And like sometimes it's like caramel. Or caramel, however you want to pronounce it, because like sometimes like it comes out with like a golden consistency, though usually it's like a tannish brown.
Yeah.
So that's not too far from gold to begin with. And so like yeah, when I look at it, it's like I see like gold, I'm like ooh gold, but I think like wait a minute, butterscotch warning. That's a butterscotch warning right there. Don't be too hasty. But I will admit that like the look of it like definitely has me intrigued. I'm gonna have to get a bar of that eventually. But I only ever see it at the corner stores where it's like $2 or $3 for a fucking bar.
I've seen it at HEB's, and HEB usually has pretty good coupons on candy, so...
Sweet. I got a really good coupon on M&ms the other day. But,
M&ms. I fucking love M&ms. I will eat them.
The regular chocolate M&ms are good. They're a pretty basic candy. I enjoy them. I can't eat too many of them. In one sitting, because like you get the diminishing returns. I think that's the problem with being a kid, is when you're a kid you can eat a shitload of candy and sweets, and I'm guessing your brain hasn't developed the ability to give diminishing returns. It's like you don't really start getting it until it's way fucking too late and you're already getting a stomach ache.
Yeah.
Like your body's like trying to purge like all the unnecessary sugar that you're intaking, because your pancreas is about to pop because it can't handle it all.
Yeah.
There isn't enough insulin in the world to deal with this.
I remember at some point during high school, and this lasted for probably 2 years. At some point I decided I was like too old for candy, and I had stopped eating candy, and I had stopped eating sweets like cookies and stuff. And I don't know why I got this in my head, but thankfully one of my friends, he snapped me out of it, because he had brought some ice cream over for spending the night, and told him that, I feel like I've outgrown it. And he just gave me a mass amount of shit because of how much my dad loves ice cream. And I was like, yeah, you got a point. It's still good.
It's like, no, that's something that your parents try to train into you because they don't want you to realize that you're a grown-ass man now. You can buy as much candy as you want. You can buy as much candy as you can afford to. And there's nothing to stop you. You don't live with your parents anymore. They don't control your life. Maybe that's another thing. Like, I don't know. It's like, because when I was a kid, I didn't get a whole lot of candy. Like, my parents were always trying to screw me out of my candy. It was like they never wanted to give me any. And when they did, it was always like, you can get one candy for the month. Whenever I would go somewhere where there was like candy about, they would always like intercept me like a like a Secret Service agent stopping a bullet. They would just like jump in front of me and tackle my ass to the ground, and then they would like if I was someplace at a party, it's like, oh, he doesn't need that. It makes him hyper. That's the fucking bullshit excuse they always say for kids. Don't give them candy because they're hyper. You want to know why I was hyper? Because I had ADD and ADHD. Candy had no effect on that. In fact, not having candy made it worse because it just pissed me the fuck off. Because I got to watch everyone else enjoying candy while I had none.
Yeah, it's not that candy makes kids hyper. It's that they're already prone to hyper and they're excited because they have candy. There's nothing about the sugar that actually like spawns that.
Now, I'm sure that there is like some kids that are hypersensitive to sugar in terms of like reacting to it. But like, yeah, like them attaining the candy and becoming hyper because they're excited. Just like, like a gold miner is going to become excited when he finds gold. You're not going to say, don't give him gold because it makes him hyper. Don't give the sweepstakes winner the money because it'll just make him hyper. Don't give the lottery winner the money because it'll just make him hyper. It's a stupid bullshit excuse that parents use to try to keep you from getting candy. And I can understand that your parents aren't doing it just to deprive you of happiness. They're doing it because they know if you eat a bunch of candy, it's going to fuck you up. It's like, yeah, it's like, I don't know if like parents knew that there was such a thing as early onset diabetes when I was little, but they knew well enough that if you eat too much candy, A, it'll fuck up your stomach. B, you'll be too full to eat like regular like people food. And C, like generally it's going to make you crash, and when people crash, they tend to get really grumpy and like pissed off. Because it's your body telling you, is like, like, hey, that stuff that you really liked, it's gone now, go get more, but otherwise I'm going to make you feel like shit. So, like...
Well, so for you, is there like a candy you like that nobody else seems to? For me, it's Swedish Fish. I really like Swedish Fish.
Well, Swedish Fish are okay. I don't like the fact that the majority of them are like cherry flavored, because
they're actually not cherry flavored. I forget what they're
strawberry?
Actually... No, it's some kind of weird flavor. But
it tastes kind of like cherry to me. I mean, it may not be cherry, but it tastes cherry-ish. Yeah, maybe something with cherry in it.
And oftentimes, like when people see colored Swedish Fish, they think that they're different flavors, but that's actually rarely the case. They're usually always the same flavor, just dyed a different color.
Well, like I've tried the different dyed ones, and like they taste different flavors to me, and they also have different consistencies too, which is really weird. Like some of them are like really chewy, and some of them are like kind of brittle. I'm like, does the food coloring affect their their ability to hold together or something?
Well, sometimes they are different flavors, and if they are, that might be what's affecting the consistency. But a lot of times, when you get the ones that have the red, yellow, and green in the package, they're all the same flavor.
Oh, like the ones that I usually get, they're like, like red, yellow, green, orange, blue.
Yeah, those might have different flavors. I'd have to actually see the package, but
like, yeah, I don't mind Swedish Fish. The only problem I have with them is that like sometimes they can get too chewy. They remind me of Dots. You remember Dots? They used to come in these little boxes.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a typical Halloween candy. They come in these little yellow boxes, and they're like these little like gumdrops.
Yeah, they have like 5 or 6 drops in the box.
Yeah, the problem is like they stick to you like fucking glue. Like they're impossible to get off your fucking teeth.
Yeah. Or they're fucking hard to get out of the box too. There's always 1 or 2 just like glued to the bottom.
It's like, oh yeah, if they glue to like the bottom of the box, you can imagine how well they fucking glue to your teeth. Let's see, one candy that I like that no one else likes. That's hard because I like a lot of this. It was like I like a lot of candy. It's like most people don't like candy corn.
Yeah.
I remember one time I tried these candy corn flavored M&ms. They were white chocolate M&Ms where they had special flavoring in the shell to give them like kind of an extra sweetness that reminded me of the sweetness of candy corn. It didn't taste exactly like candy corn. It tasted like extra sweet white chocolate.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of taste, like, some of it reminded you of candy corn, but it wasn't the same flavor. But like that, like, I could get like a handful of those and I'd have to stop because it's like, just like candy corn, you get the diminishing returns. Going back to M&Ms, like the regular M&Ms are okay, but the peanut M&Ms I like a lot better.
Yeah. Those are...
the peanuts give it a good consistency, I gotta say.
The peanuts are the ones I usually get.
And also, I guess like the saltiness of the peanut mixed with like the sweetness of the candy coating and the chocolate like really like work well together.
Yeah. I rarely see them at stores, but I love the peanut butter M&Ms.
Oh, I was about to say like those are my fucking favorite. They're like the Reese's Pieces except bigger.
Yeah.
And they have the better brand of chocolate.
Yeah.
That they have. I'll tell you one thing though. There was this candy that came out when I was in high school called the Big Cat. It was like the Kit Kat bar, but it was like the size of a Snickers bar. And man, that was something else. I remember I bit into the thing, not knowing that there was like an inch thick layer of like super sweet chocolate at the end, and so I just bit into that chocolate without even hitting the wafer in the inside. And that was some sweet fucking chocolate. And so by the end of it, like my fucking heart was just going like, well, like you can't really hear it there. It'd be kind of like, and I'm sitting there, I was like, hey, does anyone like got anything I could use to like slow down my heartbeat before I hit cardiac arrest? Anybody?
Yeah, my favorite M&M flavor was a limited edition one. It was the coconut. The chocolate.
They have coconut again. I saw a coconut one. They were like all green coconut over at Walmart the other day.
I'm going to have to go look for some.
Yeah. It's like those are just, they don't taste a lot like coconut to me, and they're just a little bit.
And I saw one that was like, it had a similar color wrapper. It was white chocolate, and those were really good too. Not as good as the peanut butter.
Yeah, the white chocolate ones are nice. I'll tell you what's weird though is the white chocolate Reese's peanut butter cups. They don't taste right to me.
Those ones I don't mind, but I won't go out of my way to get them.
It's like they're not bad, they just taste wrong.
Yeah.
And I really don't like the dark chocolate peanut butter cups either.
Oh, I love those, but I never see them anywhere.
When my dad buys candy, generally the only candy he will buy is dark chocolate because he hates sweetness and flavor. I think my dad figures if he's going to buy some kind of candy, it needs to be a candy that punishes you for eating it.
Yeah, no, Reese's, like their chocolate alone and their peanut butter alone, I probably wouldn't care for too much. But for some reason, when that peanut butter sludge hits that rubber chocolate, it's damn good.
Oh yeah, peanut butter cups. I could eat a stack of those. That's like 3 feet high.
Give me a Pringles can full of peanut butter cups.
Why the fuck aren't they in Pringles cans, man? The inquiring minds fucking demand to know why.
I want Pringles peanut butter cups. Do it.
I know that they got those Reese's peanut butter cups that are big because they got the Reese's Pieces in there.
Yeah.
And those are all right, but it doesn't taste like it's the same like peanut butter. The peanut butter tastes different.
Yeah, whenever they change the size of them, it really affects the peanut butter flavor. Like, I love Reese's, and so my wife, she got me this huge one for Christmas, and I was grateful for it, but The peanut butter, it just did not taste the same at all.
Well, I had like a big Reese's thing. My parents got me like a big Reese's thing. I think for Easter, it's like a Reese's peanut butter bunny.
Yeah.
But it was bullshit because like it wasn't all Reese's. It was like a chocolate bunny with 6 cubes of peanut butter that were about 1 inch by 1 inch square, put like in like a paired up along the length of this thing. And so like you had to bite like a good 3 inches into this thing's ear before you got to the peanut butter. And then you quickly ran out of peanut butter and you hit another like solid chunk of chocolate before you got to the next pocket of peanut butter. I'm like, this is bullshit. It's like, who? This is a lie. This isn't a peanut butter filled. This is a bunny with a peanut butter 6-pack. This is bullshit, man.
Yeah. And the big Reese's she got me, like the chocolate, it wasn't soft like the Reese's usually is. It was pretty hard. And like the peanut butter, once it got to room temperature, it would start to separate and ooze this like, it almost looked like it was dripping honey.
It's like, no, if I'm getting a big Reese's peanut butter cup, I want the thing to be the size of a pie, and I want to be able to eat it like a fucking pie.
Well, it was about the size of a chicken pot pie.
No, I mean like a full-on like fucking cherry pie or like, you know, pecan pie or something like that.
I bought a Reese's cheesecake once, and like...
No, fuck cheesecake. I don't know what people see in cheesecake. No matter what kind of cheesecake flavor it is, to me, it always tastes like cheesecake. It's like, here's a caramel cheesecake. It's like, okay, tastes like cheesecake. Here's a chocolate cheesecake. Tastes just like cheesecake. Do you taste the chocolate? No, I taste the cheesecake. Here's a carrot cake cheesecake. Well, that's a fucking lie because there ain't no carrot cake in this. It's all just cheesecake. It all tastes like cheesecake. I've literally had people bring to office parties at my work, like the thing where it's like the cheesecake where it's like 4 different flavors. And I've taken like one piece from each of the fucking flavors and they all tasted exactly the fucking same. The only different flavor was like the shit that was sprinkled on top. Like if it had little flecks of chocolate sprinkled on the top, that was the only chocolate you tasted. Not if it was a chocolate cheesecake. It still just tasted like cheesecake without even the suggestion of fucking chocolate in it. It was only the chocolate shavings on the top that gave it any fucking chocolate flavoring whatsoever. Cheesecake is a big fucking lie.
I like cheesecake.
Well, you can fucking have it.
I will.
I fucking hate cheesecake. And I hate that there's like so many good ideas for cake that they don't do in cake and instead just do with cheesecake. Fuck that. It's like, you know, like, we got this great idea, great, and we're making it into a cheesecake. Go fuck yourself.
Well,
you're like the fucking Hank Pym of fucking cakes.
Well, I think our subscribers is going to go down from 11 to 7 now. Speaking of which, as of today, looking at the subscribers, we have 11. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate it.
Also, sorry to the people who I forcibly made subscribe. Hopefully you're actually listening to this. It'll probably be a long time down the road before you actually hear this particular episode, and hopefully we'll have more subscribers by then, God willing. But we're about an hour 13 into this, so I think this will be a point to stop. I can honestly go on for another couple hours talking about candy, because there's so many. But we'll have to continue our candy conversation another time. So in the meantime, all of you people out there, if you're listening, if you are, stay fat and stay angry.
Eat candy.